Welcome to the closing ceremonies for this fifth Onyx Path virtual gaming convention. Hard to believe it went by so fast. And here we
Yeah,
are, closing
yeah.
ceremonies. I'm Rich Thomas, founder and creative director of Onyx Path Publishing. And these wonderful people with me are.
My name is Eddie Webb. My pronouns are he, him, slash tired. And I am the in-house developer and executive producer at Onyx Path. I'm responsible for a whole bunch of game lines. Some of them are probably your favorites. And yes, Danielle, your turn.
Oh, I see. Hi, I'm Danielle. People call me Dee, and my pronouns are she or they, and I am an in-house developer at Onyx Path. Yes, I am the in-house developer for Exalted, which is probably your favorite game line. Uh,
Mhm.
Knowing how our fans are.
And
Uh,
also that management of dogs, as we established earlier in the
yes,
convention.
the management of dogs, of which you can only see one of them right now. I don't know where Klaus ran off to. He's probably hanging
Mhm.
out with Weston. Uh, and then yeah, that's
You
me.
did at the gates, and
At the gates, yeah, I
you
did
know that
that.
that new thing we mentioned.
Yeah, I
Also your
am the
favorite game.
developer. Yeah, I am also
That is your
the
new favorite game, folks.
yeah,
If
I
you're
am
not
the
paying
developer
attention.
for your new favorite game, Curseborn, which I'm not allowed to say out loud. Cubone.
Yeah. So like yesterday was not so bad for the Curseborn curse. Maybe today we all this whole thing everything just falls apart, but it was
Maybe
not too
put a
bad.
tolerance to it now.
Dixie, I know
Yesterday,
you want to say something about Curseborn, right?
I mean, I would say all kinds of things about Curseborn, but I am very excited that over the course of the weekend we have hit Electrum bestseller on Drive Thru RPG. That means we sold at least 250 copies. Um, I keep poking it to be like, are you gonna go gold? You could go gold, be gold. So we'll see. We'll see
If you
if
have
we
the
get there.
Midas touch, that would work.
Right, right. But yeah, no, I'm Dixie Cochran. My pronouns are she, her. I do all kinds of things: layout, editing, writing, jack of all trades, talking on camera, Onyx Path stuff. And I am very, very excited about all of the stuff that we've talked about all weekend. And I think I'm a lot less tired than my other two in-house developers and Onyx Pathcast hosts.
Well, we
But that's
hit it
probably
well.
because
We
I didn't put myself on 4 panels in a row yesterday like Dee did.
that was more than four,
That,
wasn't it, D?
It
I
was four
also,
back to back.
it
I
was four
also,
back to back. I didn't do that. I
yeah,
just said these are the panels that I should be on,
that's my
and then
fault.
Travis put them all back to back.
Frickin'
Travis did that.
Travis.
So speaking of which, you want to introduce yourself and atone for your crimes?
Absolutely. My name is Travis Legg. My pronouns are he, they. When I'm not running or writing games, I am organizing our Twitch schedule and by extension our convention. So if you had a wonderful time this weekend, you're welcome. If you had a bad time this weekend, I guess
That's
it's
totally
my
my
fault.
fault. Sorry, folks. It's not Travis's.
But it is.
Travis did the good stuff.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say, Rich. Um, Yeah, it's been a great show. Been very excited to see people come in. I'm thrilled over the moon to see how the Curseborn Ash Can has performed, and to see the reactions to the actual play. It was
Hmm.
wonderful job that Dee and the crew did in playing. I had a lot of fun putting together the post production on it. Aside from the near death experience my computer had, it was great.
Because it was tied to Curseborn, therefore there must be a glitch.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm just super jazzed that people have once again showed up, had a good time, had a lot of fun panels, and yeah, thank you not only to Rich for the opportunity to do it, but to the fans for giving us an opportunity to do this. This is super cool.
Did we ever talk about that whole thing about Curseborn and how all the with the advertising and the marketing that we were doing all stealthy stuff and all that, that every time we were saying, oh, and this weird thing happened and that weird thing happened, that it was an actual thing that
I
happened? Like
I
Matthew actually had technical problems with one of his things.
Hmm.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the Curseborn panel,
Okay.
where we talked about, but I don't think we like detailed that. Yes, like literally every single time we were like, oh no, there's something weird happening to Matthew's computer, or oh no, we lost power. We must be cursed. Like these were just things that were actually happening.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
What's even worse is that
we
it's,
went with them. We kind of elaborated and used them, but they were happening for real. We still don't know why.
right. And the worst thing is that when we started talking about the marketing campaign, it was like, it would be funny if we had these things as if they were mysteriously happening. And then they started actually happening. It's like, it is not funny anymore. This should
No,
stop
we were
now,
wrong. It was not funny
please.
at all.
This is, you know what I thought would be funny? This. You know what's actually funny? Literally anything else.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I think we even said, that's a little too involved, a little too argish.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go that far down into a rabbit hole where we were doing that kind of stuff, and yet it happened just
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
As, like Alan Moore's Jack the Ripper. I wrote it down and it was fiction, but it happened just the same.
There you have
So,
it.
Oh, Alan Moore.
cultural reference.
No, we're not counting those anymore. It was just for that panel.
So you speak of Alan Moore, and then I like brain went to too many different places. A good cultural reference.
Okay.
Sorry.
God.
Thanks, Mr. Moore, for all the stuff.
All the stuff, yes.
For us, what now that we're at the end of this, we've got a little bit of time to kind of review. I'm sure we'll do a further review, and people will send me some thoughts for the blog on Monday. But
Yes.
as a little hint there, guys. What do you all see as really your personal highlight of the convention?
I think my personal highlight was, oh man, it's so hard because I did 4 panels back to back and all of them kind of blur together. But I really, opening ceremonies is probably weirdly my highlight, which is
It's all downhill from there.
It's like dumb, but like I think it was
Peaked early.
everybody's like the wow factor that everybody had when we were like, oh hey, welcome to opening ceremonies. Go check Drive Through RPG.
Yeah.
There's an ash can for this game you keep asking us about. And literally while we're doing the opening ceremonies, Rich is losing power, everything is kind of glitching out. And the kind of confluence of those two things was kind of fun in like a weird way. I really enjoyed all the
Hysterical
panels.
laughter, yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed all of the panels I was on this weekend, but I actually really enjoyed talking with Eddie and Terry on Storypath Ultra. Or Storypath in general, but Storypath Ultra, and just talking about all of the things that we have kind of planned for Ultra and its differences from Storypath and its similarities, and the things that, just hearing from fans that they're, really liking the changes or really enjoying the changes is really,
I think
really
even that they
good.
understand the changes, which is
Yep.
something that I really like seeing when people
Yep.
go, oh, this was a problem for us and this would totally solve that. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Right. So yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to say the Storypath Q&A too myself, because it's heartening because we've done it a couple of years now, and it's by design the crunchiest panel, right? And intellectually, it's like, oh, only people who are really interested in how the rules are constructed will show up. But a few number of people actually showed up, and it was a good way to kind of talk about more. We talk about some of the design decisions, but also more like what we want to do with this, and proud of all the work that's we've been putting into, again, not changing, not replacing the old system, but just pulling out what we always wanted to do with it and making it more front and center. And it's cool that people are getting that in a way that has been really heartening. But also, honestly, the actual Curseborn panel itself, when we were like, oh yeah, we'll talk about some of the things we're thinking about doing with it and whatnot, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end, and like the whole time it was just questions were just scrolling by.
Yeah.
It just really showed that people were super excited. In fact, like, and the fact is that usually at this convention, opening ceremonies and What's Up are like the big panels number-wise attendances. And Curseborn was also up there for a game that literally we only acknowledged the name of officially like relatively recently.
Like a month ago.
Yeah, was massive. So
Been a long road getting from there to here.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
no. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me every single trend or every time we're on a stream together? You always start quoting Faith of the Heart at me. And then when I say no, you say, Dixie, you gotta have Faith of the Heart. And you do this to me every time, and I don't like it.
Wow.
It's gonna be stuck in my head now.
It's a Pavlovian response at this point. If it can be brought up, I will.
You got Travis trained.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as Travis Angers, Dixie Cochran. Anyway.
God damn it, Ian.
Wow.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Anyway, Dixie, what was your highlight?
I mean, you're all hitting everything that I was super excited about too. Like every year, I love doing this. This is our 5th time, which is awesome. I like getting to talk to all the fans. I like the fact that people can come from all over. That's always going to be a highlight for me, especially now that I don't get to see like Eddie and Matthew like I used to. It's nice to spend some extra time that isn't just the typical work week. But I mean, I think a lot of our highlights are going to be Curseborn related because we have been working on it for a long time. We really put a lot of care into this. We love it. Story Path Ultra happened, and then that system is wonderful, and it's made Curseborn even stronger. And like, yeah, no, I'm just really, really happy with how what we've produced so far has turned out, and I am very excited to see how it keeps going. Because I mean, like I said, the game, the Ashcan version has been on drive-through for 48 hours as of right now. And it's been doing really, really well for those 48 hours. I love seeing all the people who are trying to like read through it during the opening ceremonies, like ask questions. And it's like, it's 60 pages. Give yourself an hour or so after the thing.
No, it's a page a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, like all the discussion has been really wonderful. I have seen a few things come in on the errata that we have out for it. So if you see anything on there, please definitely throw it in so we can go over it and see if we need to tweak anything further.
Yeah, it's really part of the process.
Yeah, but we're really excited about it. I obviously had fun talking about Pugmire today, but that's just Eddie and I could talk about Pugmire for 5 hours if you let us. So.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But yeah, no, really for me, it's just seeing everybody getting together, hanging out. I did a little after party last night. That was fun.
Yeah, how did I saw a was it a t-shirt design by?
Yes, Ian did a t-shirt design, and now we have Aeon Timothy, who is my new favorite character out of all Onyx Path, is Aeon Timothy, the Aeon symbol with googly eyes.
One of those little mascots that tries to take over the world.
Yeah, and like honestly, I love doing that with the community, and I've talked about it before. Maybe I'll actually do this in the future. Is doing like a monthly like hangout night for fans or something. Just something chill like these being your Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
We can do all kinds of things on our Twitch that aren't just actual plays. Although those are of course cool.
They are of course cool.
And yes, Velvet Tea in the chat was there until 5 in the morning their time, and I'm like it's midnight. I'm going away now. They're like it's 5 a.m. I'm like, why are you here? But we had fun. We had a good time.
I woke up at 5 a.m.
I saw you writing things in our Monday meeting Discord while I was sitting on my couch watching TV. So I was like, Eddie, no.
Is it really a con if you're not staying up super late though?
So real.
And you don't get a crud. Trav, I mean, obviously just that it worked, I'm sure is a big thing for you.
Yeah, it's alive. That was a big one. No, I mean, a couple things that were really cool for me to see. Obviously, I was very pleased with the reactions to the Curseborn actual play because, like I said, it was a lot of work to make sure that it looked as good as possible and sounded as good as possible. I think that metric was hit and people seemed to enjoy what was going on. That was really cool. I will always love opportunities to talk about the Terrigen. So the Trinity Continuum panel was fun. That was nice. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's really been a good time. The community content panel we just did was a hoot too. It was very cool. Yeah, so I mean, just fun all around. But those were really the highlight moments for me, and seeing so many people engaged with so many things at the same time because of the role I occupy. If
You're right. You're
I'm
seeing it all.
right, if I'm not actively on a screen somewhere, I have all of the partner channels open and I'm bouncing back and forth between them to make sure everything's going okay, you know? So I really got to see kind of a broad view of a lot of people seem to be having a really good time. So that was heartwarming to see. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. If I could maybe just embarrass you for a second, Travis.
Sure, by all means.
Yes.
One of the things that happened during the course of the doing the Curseborn lead up to the opening ceremonies, and then telling everybody that the ash can was available on drive-through, was that we weren't talking about how things were getting done and things were getting made, and the mini films, the little teaser films that started a year ago,
Yeah.
that we just started seeding into the universe, were by and large, and huge percentage of getting those done was Travis's ability to take some weird ass idea I had and turn it into a film.
Mhm.
And they were delightful and wonderful and very, very varied, which is where, really what we were attempting to do is show a range of what this thing was before we even got to giving anybody the name for the thing. And then some of the themes that were involved with it, and just very slowly letting that simmer in a way that people could discover it while it was drifting around out there. And the beauty of each of those little individual films, and certainly how cool they are when they're all put together as a series of bumps. That's completely Travis's filmmaking ability
Well, thank
coming
you.
to the fore.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you trusting me with that because because obviously that was a big deal, you know. So thank you very much for your kind words about it and for trusting me with that work. They were a blast to work on. It was a lot of fun.
Well, it all started because I took a train down into Philadelphia, and I was underground, and another train came through, and it sounded like a scream, and I went, "Hey, that'd be really cool for Curseborn." And then Travis figured out how to do it.
And then we wound up with number stations and monsters and hallways.
Yep.
I think my favorite
yeah.
about all the videos are the people that were reading things into them that absolutely we didn't put in there.
Oh my goodness.
Like we just thought it was like some cool footage, and they'd be like, "I think there's a code," and we're like, "Okay, if you want to find a code in there."
I was just waiting for him to actually discover something that we had
Right?
no idea was in there, and just go, "Oh crap! Are we getting messages sent to us that we didn't know about?" We're just the hands for some sinister brain somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I do love how when we started doing those, everyone just immediately assumed it was an ARG, and then after trying to decode all the stuff in there, decided that it was a crap ARG.
It was never an ARG.
Right, and never came to the
it's-
conclusion maybe it's not an ARG. No, it was just obviously a badly designed
Wow.
ARG. It's like it was extremely badly designed because it was not designed at all.
Yeah, we did a real piss poor job of making an ARG that we didn't make.
Well, I kind of touched on that a little bit just to kind of warn people off of that in one of the Monday notes, because Eddie and I actually worked as part of CCP in terms of analyzing and potentially implementing. We never got around to doing the implementation, but how to do ARGs and how to make those things work. And we had people come in to talk about how they did their ARGs and all kinds of stuff. And so, yeah, we're pretty familiar with what they really are.
And they take a ton of work.
But that people thought that there was this much involved with it, I thought was a testament to their creativity and potential, enjoyment of how this stuff was rolling out for them. Which great. I'm glad a lot of people had a good time.
Totally. One thing I've learned is that humans are fantastic at finding patterns.
Oh yeah.
But even if patterns not there, a human will find the patterns. Or you see faces in clouds and stuff like that. Because the human brain loves to find patterns and things, and then because we found a pattern, we therefore assume an intentionality, and we assume that there's a reason for that pattern to exist. Insert religious joke here. So, I mean, it's fascinating when people do look at this kind of morass of here's just cool stuff that we want to get people hyped about the mood and vibe of it, and
How
nothing
can
much
we
more.
connect it?
Right. And then they say, well, it must be this and this and this and this and this and this. So it's like I found it fascinating. And like to Rich's point, it's like it showed how excited people were. And that's like early on, I was feeling like, oh, this is going to be a really cool thing. And then again, like when we announced it and people started getting excited, and then when the ash cans selling so fast over 48 hours on literally zero announcement, and then again, like I said, the panel, it really shows that this is something that I think is going to be really special. And I know that all of us have put a ton of hard work into it behind the scenes, especially Danielle. And it'll be great when it's finally out there. But each of these moments, like when your blog blew up, when you hypothetically said, "Hey, hypothetically, if we did a horror game, what
Yeah.
would that be like?" All of these moments really get me excited for the eventual release.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I'm
I
very
as
excited.
well. All right. So what besides Curseborn, what else did we announce? We have a list, or does everybody want to freeform it?
I mean, I could get a list, but that would take me 3 clicks to find, and I don't want to spend
I
my
had the
energy.
list and I closed it for some reason. I don't know why I did
Can I
that.
do it off the top of my head? Mythic
Can
Shards.
you?
Okay,
Yes.
Mythic Shards?
so we talked about Mythic Shards for Scion. I believe they did some deep delving into that, which was nice. I know now people have a list of the first shards that are going to be in the crowdfunder that is going to be the next crowdfunder we're doing.
hmm
After Bodana's, the Bodana Group's Branch Riders, which is a current Kickstarter right now. We had two great panels with Jack from Bodana, and also the first panel was about Branch Riders. So our good friend Doug from Bodana was also there. And then just Eddie and me and Jack this morning babbling at each other and making pop culture references. But Jack had a
Proceed.
fantastic basically an overview and kind of a little historical look at and what is their mission, all about the Bodana Group in the panel this morning. So we talk about them all the time. We talk about how we think their mission is fantastic. The trying to use tabletop gaming for therapeutic purposes. If you're ever curious about what it is they're trying to do, you can dig that up when it's on YouTube. And all of these panels should wind up on YouTube, assuming no technical difficulties, in the next couple of weeks. So even this one, which
Yeah.
I don't know why people look at Closing Ceremonies, but glad to be looked at again if somebody wants to.
Perhaps for the recaps that we are presently giving.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that was Mythic Shards. We announced the
Branch
third.
Riders.
We announced Branch Riders. Well, we didn't announce it, but Branch Riders. The third book in the Earthbane saga cycle, which is Monster Kingdoms.
Yeah, the third game. Yep.
Yep. And again, I don't know what was said there. I was at the Earthbones. I can't repeat what was said there, but I know I'm excited for that. That's gonna be, I'm working with Matthew, but it's gonna be my first time dipping my toe into the Earthbane stuff. I'm excited for that.
It was the Earthbane panel was a good one. We managed to talk about the World Below, which of course was our first one. Then At the Gates, which is Danielle's game that we just recently finished up on crowdfunding, and then talked about Monster Kingdoms. And Matthew was there to provide some of the inside info. It's not anything that we can say a heck of a lot about because now it has to go into the creation process.
Yeah.
Right.
But he mentioned that he had written a world Bible for it, which is a very good read. That is something that basically sets down a whole lot of information about how the whole thing is set up, what countries there are, who's doing what's the main conflicts, things like that. It can be very, very involved, or it can be bullet points. But in this case, this was a good chunk, a little medium depth, I think.
Right.
But Matthew did did a very interesting job of coming up with a whole new game right there in that Bible. And now Eddie and he and whoever they hire will be working on extrapolating that out and actually writing text. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Speaking of me and Matthew joints, we're also working with Larry Blamire on Trinity Continuum Steam Wars, which is our first tangent of the Trinity Continuum.
Right.
I'm super excited about that, by the way. I love the
proof
comics.
of the pudding there.
Yeah. The idea that not everything in the Continuum has never been designed to be a nice, neat line, and so this is going to be our first. I mean, we had a couple of bubbles and minor tangents. This will be our first major tangent. Super clear of here's a parallel path that the Trinity Continuum can take, and I'm excited about that. Let's see. Danielle announced something for Exalted.
Infernals.
Oh, those infernals.
Infernals.
Yes.
And
They're demons and stuff.
They're bound to demons. They are not demons themselves. They come from Malpheus, which is like a demonic realm, sort of alternate place that's not the underworld. I'm not sure exactly.
It's Florida.
It's hell.
Say, isn't
like,
it
like Eddie just said.
Isn't it
Florida.
inside of a big dead guy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's the green fire hell, not the other hell.
Yeah.
In Exalted. There's multiple hells in Exalted.
There's-
It's true. I'm not lying, Eddie.
So many hells.
Exalted's got a lot of hells.
I mean, it's got a lot of directions. We did talk about our new releases on the panel earlier today, and people were talking about, we're talking a little bit about Across the Eight Directions and how, we're really happy with how that came out and, got released earlier this year. And I was just like, but listeners, if you haven't bought it yet, I have to warn you, there are more than 8 directions in that book.
8-ish directions.
8-ish directions, yes. Across all of those directions.
8
more
as a
than
loose
8.
concept.
Yes.
That reminds me though, like of I don't remember where I read it, but like how someone's talking about how in ancient myths, they would often use a word like 1,000 or 1,000,000 as just kind of to mean a big amount.
Crap ton.
Yeah, right. So I imagine 8 is just like more than 6. It's like, there's like you count to 6, and after that it's just 8. Everything is 8.
Yeah, I mean, once you get past how many directions are on your hand, you just go, 8.
And you don't have another hand because you're an Exalted and it got cut off in a grism.
It turned into the sun.
Or a Calcum's sword that just is always permanently attached.
Right.
So
let's see. We also announced expansion of the realms, title pending, which is the next big supplement.
Across the dog creation.
Right.
8 expansions of the realms.
The 8 realms of dogs.
This is the crossover you've always wanted. Pugmire and Exalted.
The 1,000 dogs of the universe. No. And that's going to be more callings for dogs. So it's going to have rules for reptiles, birds, rabbits, and hares, and the often requested badger tribes are going to be playable as player characters in that, as well as more information on Pugmire and its sister cities, Mucktown and Houndton, and several adventures explaining how this all ties together and why the badger characters are now playable, whereas before perhaps maybe they weren't.
So they're like the Klingons, really.
Kind of, yes. But if the Klingons suddenly unionized and realized that maybe their boss is not great.
We didn't mention the most important thing, though, which is that it's the Badger clans, which includes polecats, which means you can play a stoat. And I would like to play a stoat in Pugmire because stoats are freaking cute.
Yes. Somebody had asked me which, if it's cute British badgers or angry American badgers, and the answer is yes.
Well, honey badgers.
The cute British badgers are the Badgerton family that I keep talking about because I can't stop calling Bridgerton Badgerton.
Badgerton, amazing.
Maybe Badgerton is a series of plays put on in the realms of Pugmire.
We also did talk up Threats and Curs and the amazing art direction that both Rich Thomas and Ron Thompson did on that. So that's going to be really exciting. I can't wait till people see that.
Yep. So as we get all the other little niggly pieces ready with that thing, that'll be good to go.
Indeed.
Um,
What else do we announce?
I snuck in a
Um,
really minor Pugmire announcement, which is that starting this Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Eastern, the crew of my longtime Scarred Sins of Shelzar group will be returning after our hiatus with a bi-weekly Realms of Pugmire Curious Cats and Mouse stream. So
Cool.
Wednesday is 9 p.m. Session 0 is this week, so come check it out. We'll be showing off a bunch of stuff with the new system, and Eddie's given me permission to break out some monsters from Threats and Curves as well,
Yep.
which I will absolutely be taking advantage of.
Right. Oh, I forgot to mention, we did announce the Scion Pugmire crossover Mythic Sharks. We also announced that.
We got to put one more entry in Threats and Curves. Sharks,
Yes.
comma, mythic.
Right.
Sharks, comma, forest, sharks, comma, sharks,
Yeah,
comma,
desert.
mythic.
Yep.
Freaking forest sharks. Um,
I love forest sharks.
that's the name that it's just, they're not sharks. Anyway, um,
What's so funny about it?
was that because I think we announced more things at this convention than we have previously done at any.
Oh,
any
100%.
I think so
Yeah.
because I think we announced or discussed something for literally every one of our game lines except for, well, not every single one of our game lines, but all of our major game lines, and then announced a new major game line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we announced anything new for They Came From, but
No.
that's because we are catching up on all
Yeah, we
the
have so
things.
Right,
much They Came
so
From
much stuff.
They
Yeah.
came. They came from was a more of a retrospective panel, and Scarred Lands we just beat people up. That was what we did with the allotted Scarred Lands time was just gladiatorial combat.
Murder
Yeah.
people in the streets.
Oh,
That's-
okay, unique take on the panel concept, but sure, that's
Sounds
cool.
sounds fitting.
Oh
to me.
wait, that was supposed to be an actual play. Oops.
The Scarlands meat grinder, but it's a panel.
We're literally just grinding meat in like
Oh.
like an ASMR.
Hey, if
And
panel.
we're mixing
was-
burgers at the end.
If it was good enough for Larry Flint, I guess it's good enough for us.
No. So
There's
okay.
a famous meat grinder picture. Never mind.
yes. What you talking about? I just want to make sure we covered everything, all the various game lines and everything that we did announce because we don't want to lose it. We did emphasize also, and I'm going to emphasize it again. If you get a chance, if you buy one of our projects and you like it, if you could put a review in somewhere, whether it's if it's a drive-through thing, it's very easy because it's the star. You can just give it stars. You can give it a review.
Mhm.
You can write comments on drive-through. If it's something you bought at a store, you bought from one of our Kickstarters or something like that, hosting a review on our site, on Discord, on the forums. You go to RPGNet, right? So I read this. Here's what I think about it. If you have time to do that, it is immeasurably helpful for us. There's really no way to describe how helpful it is to have an opportunity for someone besides us to say, "Here's what I think about this thing." So people really respond to it and enjoy it.
I just did double check. I actually looked up the document, and yes, we've covered all the game lines and all the announcements.
Good.
Sweet.
Good. Then that
Look at
means I can segue into the sausage ASMR because
Oh,
we're talking about a meat grinder, and it
please don't.
reminded me of it reminded me of a YouTube called Ordinary Sausage, where this guy makes all sorts of things into a sausage and then cooks them and sees how well they stay in the sausage casing and how well they cook and then how well they taste if he can eat it. He doesn't try to eat everything he makes.
This guy Alden Brown,
No,
is
it,
a food
no.
scientist.
no, because some of the things that he turns into sausage are like, let's take a bag full of Skittles. Let's
Wow.
Just like Mom used to make.
yeah,
Wow.
let's turn an entire cheeseburger into a sausage. Just put the whole thing into the grinder, put it into casing, cook it
I'd
up,
be
see how it
curious how that
tastes.
would work out.
Right. And it's a fascinating YouTube.
I have to feel that's how sausage got invented in the first place.
I
People
mean,
being like,
What
On
do we
YouTube?
we could stick not in YouTube, Eddie.
What was YouTube in
hasn't even been
the
around
1600s?
as long as you've been around.
I mean, I had been around since the 1600s, so I suppose that tracks.
Yes. Lord Edward of Webb.
I did find a street around here that has Web Street on it, so I'm curious if like just actually family there, or if it's just a weird
Well,
coincidence.
Probably not still there.
I would suggest that if
That might be.
Dawkins doesn't steal
Very-
that street sign for you, that he's not your friend.
Well, the problem is that street signs are usually fixed to like buildings here,
Yeah.
so it's not as easy.
Not as easy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But
I've never
Or
been.
strangely easier because they're like at eye level instead of pretty high up, and you just unscrew the bolts and
Yeah.
take it right off the building.
Some street guy who was not terribly bright named one of the streets near our old place in Makunji. It was Batman Drive.
I've seen Batman Street when I drove to your house once.
Yes, and that sign was only there occasionally
Yeah.
because as soon as somebody saw that, I gotta have the Batman
Yeah,
sign, you
A
know.
Batman
So
sign.
every time you drive by, there's a less than 50% chance that the sign would be up.
Yeah, there were a few commonly stolen signs near me where I grew up. There's always one that's like just a little raunchy. If you look at it the right way, people will just stealing it.
Yeah, I grew up in a town called Mauston, Wisconsin, and if you're interested in what sign got stolen, just look and see what exit it is off of I-90.
Ah,
I lived near a town in Georgia called Cumming, spelled the worst possible way.
yep. I remember that one.
There are several teenagers with
Fabulous.
that sign in their bedroom, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's-
Oh yeah. Street signs aside, anything else we'd like to share from our experiences this Onyx Path virtual gaming convention?
Always have a backup OBS.
Good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was supposed to do the what's that panel? Yeah, and my OBS was like, no.
Nah.
And then it
No.
worked fine for my other panels I had to run. It was just for the first one. It was like,
Yeah,
no,
not today. No, don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No thank.
That
Yeah.
may have gotten us over the Curseborn
Maybe
curse,
that was the last
curse
one.
hump.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's
It's like grounds it out
I
the.
don't- I don't
The sausage?
particularly like the yes,
that does
the curse hump. I don't love
Yeah,
that.
I don't love that phrase.
that does bring up a point though that I do want to make, which is to extend our gratitude very publicly to the tech team that helped
Yes.
make this happen. I know Dixie D have stepped up to the plate and done some tech, which is super appreciated. But most of the tech we've all been doing has been on panels. And the actual plays that are happening, I think between panels and actual plays, it was 52 events over the course of the weekend. And that takes a lot
Wow.
of hands to make that happen.
Fantastic.
And so,
So
a big, huge shout out to the tech team for their amazing work.
And to everybody who was running actual plays and who
Yes.
played in actual plays and had a good time and made it enjoyable for other people to attend the convention. You had a good time, I hope, but you made it possible by being involved for all
Mhm.
these other people to have a good time and really get some gaming in, which was part of the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, some for some of our panels, some people stepped up to actually act as moderators to
Mhm.
keep this particular bag of cats on track. So that's hugely appreciated as well.
Deeply appreciated.
Yeah, Phil and Terry did amazing work. It's
Yeah,
always a
they
pleasure
did.
to have them. If you get the chance, check out Phil's show biweekly on our Twitch channel, Meet Your Makers. He does some really cool interviews where you get to know the people who make the books. It's a lot of fun. And Terry, of course, of Mage the Podcast, which is now creeping up on its 74,000th episode or something along those lines.
He makes
And
them one a
he
day.
still feels he's not yet gotten really
I
deep.
haven't covered it
into
all,
Mage.
you know.
I don't know how much deeper you can get there, but yeah, that's a good thing. And Travis, our partners who not only helped us out previous to this by doing the character creation with Danielle for Curseborn, but also then sat in and did the Curseborn EP, were also involved with their own channels and with the things that were appearing on those, and we're very appreciative of that as well. If you could go down the list, please, because I'm going to miss somebody and I'll be embarrassed. So
No worries, absolutely.
I don't mind if you get embarrassed.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I live to serve. So we had our good friends over at Queens Court Games, and they are primarily a podcast. I believe if you go to queenscourtgames.com, it will take you to their things. And if I got that wrong, I apologize. Google them, and I'm sure it'll come up. They're an award-winning podcast. They've been very cool and very helpful throughout the process. If you've been listening to their things, I know they've had information trickling out for some time, and finally we were able to culminate that into the actual play. Our friends over at the Old Ways podcast, who also have now started streaming on Twitch just recently. They were extremely helpful. Of course, the team at Dork Tales were wonderful, and also were partners on this convention as well as being partners in that endeavor, as were Rolling Nomads, partners in both that in the Curseborn endeavor and in this convention. And then lastly, the Fiendish Foundation, formerly known as Devil's Luck Games, were supremely helpful and very cool, and brought their own brand of chaos to the actual play that made it quite an enjoyable experience. It was a lot of fun. So while Connery's not here, if you watch this on the playback, much love, good job. So I believe that's all of the Curseborn partners. And I would say watch their channels for a number of reasons. But they're gonna have stuff coming soon, and that's all good, wonderful things. So did I miss anybody? I didn't miss anybody, right?
I don't
That's
think
why
so.
I left it up to you.
That way, if you did, it's your fault.
Right, it's my fault. Yeah, let me get shouted at.
Okay, Eddie, were you delving around for some questions?
I did find a few questions, so I went ahead and pulled those out. Some questions are interesting. Some questions are also here. So we'll start with what first question is, will future Onyx Path Kickstarters have consulting developer tiers? Maybe.
Yeah, it's always a goodie. It depends on the project and depends on the overall development team. If there's room for something along those lines and they're comfortable with it, then we would, we're always happy to put something like that together. But it does come down to a case by case sort of situation. We've had some really good experiences with it. We've actually brought some people on board because of it. So it's certainly been something that we like to do whenever possible.
Okay. The question is, will Ron Thompson and his never before seen coworkers make an appearance at next year's convention?
That's so weird.
Right.
Like
show up at Back Masterson, I guess.
I don't know if there's a few people who we don't have show up at conventions because they're not comfortable being on camera.
Right.
So if that's some of the people you're like, hey, whatever, that may be a reason. It may be a bad time for them. They may have other things they're doing. Ron would have to be a little bit of cosplay. So it's not impossible, but
it could happen.
But I'm almost guaranteed. I don't know. I'd have to get a good cigar, I think. I think Ron sits there with a cigar while he's working.
I didn't realize Ron was a smoker.
Yeah, like Jack Kirby, I think.
I was going to say.
So picture him.
That's what I'm vibing, the Jack Kirby vibe.
The things you learn. One question was, any idea how many games are played and start playing? And actually, it was answered in the chat in the sense that we would have to do some digging, I guess, to find the information out because some people withdrew their games because they didn't have enough signups. Some people, when the game fills up, it disappears from the view. So
I don't think the dust is settled, has it?
No.
Yeah.
There's games still scheduled throughout the night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to jump ahead a question because this is a more Travis question. Are all the partner channel panels headed to the Onyx Path YouTube?
There's only one panel on a partner channel, and that was on my channel, so yes. The actual plays, we leave that to the partner. If they allow us to put it on our YouTube, we do. If they want to hang out on theirs, they do. But let me clarify. If it's run by one of our partners, so for example, if Dork Tales runs an actual play, doesn't matter what channel they run it on. If they want it for their YouTube, they have it. But if it's somebody who doesn't have a regular home channel or isn't one of our partner channels, those all wind up over at Onyx Path. If that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, and for example, even though our Card Sport actual play showed up on several channels over the weekends that originated from us, so that will be on our YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that will eventually make its way over to our YouTube channel. I would assume.
Right.
Yeah, unless Rich is like, no, don't do
No,
that.
probably on a
In which case,
priority basis as well, since
Yeah.
it's one of our more important ones to get up there.
Absolutely. At the earliest possible convenience.
Indeed. Another question is for the whole panel. Of the named characters in OPP books, which is your favorite? And I will add the follow-up question of, and why is it Yoshapug?
Of the named character, so like any
Any named
signature
character.
splat character, as long as they're named.
I don't
Yep,
have to.
in-
I don't
in
even.
Onyx Path.
I don't even have to think about this.
What is it?
Divismal.
Divismal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Magneto was right. So was Divismal.
I really want that on a shirt. I'm telling you, I think that would make a good red bubble shirt.
I'm all
Divismal was
for it.
right.
I'm all for it.
It's a really hard question.
Ian has put forward Aeon Timothy as favorite name.
Yeah, Aeon Timothy.
Ian would do that.
Clearly, it's Aeon Timothy.
Winning
I have
hearts and
a-
minds.
I have a soft spot for the streamer Poppy Z from Anima because that is a name
Yeah.
that I occasionally have used to play games. And I've got poppies tattooed on my arm, like
Oh, okay.
my
But
favorite
Poppy
flower.
Z Dark, right?
I actually stole my friend. I have a friend that has a really cool last name, so I've stolen it more than once to use in things. So his last name is Zavaruka.
Oh, wow.
And so she's actually supposed to be Penelope Zavaruka, aka Poppy
Penelope
Z.
Zavaruka.
Yeah.
Nice. Some cool
Uh,
parents somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with her just because I wrote her and I like her.
Awesome. Danielle, do you have any?
I'm gonna have to go with the infamous octopus named Francis.
I
Mm.
forgot about Francis. That's such
How
a
do you
good
feel
one
about Francis?
too.
Well, to be fair, I understand you feel about Francis because Francis is a cunning disguise.
Yeah.
You just
That's
didn't
how I
realize.
forgot.
Um,
Oh,
Is it-
I also have to do a special shout out to a Chronicles character that Rose and I have had a running joke about since 2015 or so, which is a character I think in the Chronicles core book, who's mentioned as a one-off example henchman called Gary the Knife. His name is spelled with 2 R's, and Rose and I, to this day, almost a decade later, will send each other Gary the Knife jokes. So I fucking love Gary the Knife. He's got a friend that we have invented called Tom the Bit of Wood with Nails in, because the way that you get named in that gang is your name and your weapon.
right.
So yeah, we've
It's a
just
bit of wood with nails in it.
exactly.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah.
And then I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, I feel we're counting the characters that I created, so I'm gonna put the Pugmire ones aside. And so runner up to those would be from They Came From Beyond the Grave, which is the devil himself in all caps.
I love that we were able to make the decision to keep that in all caps for everything.
Yes.
It was perfect.
Well, if anyone has any other questions, we're definitely at the AMA style of answering questions. So if you have more, because otherwise, Rich and I will fill this last 10 minutes if we have to.
Yeah, we may fill it with coughing. We both have been sick
Right.
during this convention.
Yeah, managed to get
water.
con crud despite the digital distance.
Yeah, and
it's-
actually,
if only it was
did
virtual
confirm.
crud.
It's especially con crud because I've been sick for a few days now, and today was the worst. And then after I came downstairs after a lot of panels before this one, my roommate and wife were both coughing. And like, yeah, we got sick. I don't know what happened. It's like con crud. Sorry.
So, but you had been at UK Games Expo, so you actually
That's 2 weeks
legitimately.
ago.
So it's the international dateline change for like your system still has not worked out.
Right, your
that you're in a
body's
different-
still
you're in a
on-
different time zone.
Yeah.
They aren't metric germs, Rich.
Yeah, that was the other problem too. It was going from imperial to metric, You know, you had
Your
4
white blood
pounds
cells are
of
in there with an
germs that
abacus
were
and
actually
shit. Like,
trying to figure out a numeric monetary thing besides a I don't know.
No, that
I
actually,
don't do the maths.
I think it was because David actually did some international travel. Like they had to go back to back, like to Poland and then to Austria and then to here and then back someplace else again. So I think probably that direction. But Concrete is just funnier.
So I see you're
Question.
just blaming it all on David, I see.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
They're not watching. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
What panel did you miss that you look forward to watching on VOD?
Ooh.
I honestly I missed the Trinity panel because I was doing 9. I was like, dear God, that's enough. So like, I just couldn't do anymore. So I do want to kind of catch up and see kind of what was said on that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not a panel, but I missed the At the Gates actual play.
Mhm.
So I need to go. I want to watch it.
Oh yeah, I want to watch the Branch Riders ones too, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to see at least one of those, and of the panels, bunch that happened today, with well, the Pugmire one, the that you two were in, the there's something I want.
Starcraft Q&A?
that's the one I need to catch.
That would be interesting as well. They came from.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
to see how everybody rolled out what they were, talking about. And I think there was something. And I would like to see both Scion ones, which I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to even catch much that was going on there, except again talking about what's in the Mythic Shards. Also, No Gods, No Masters is going to be on sale really, really soon, and I mean really soon.
Yeah, like days.
Yeah, like Wednesday. So
You heard it here first, and you'll hear it here again in a week or tomorrow. But anyway,
Tomorrow.
Because I didn't
You'll
write
hear
it
about
down, it's
again
not true
tomorrow.
yet.
right.
Yes.
What is time?
It's true.
Question for Travis.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing to do in the Mage 20 books still
Coming.
coming out?
So,
I'm coming out.
like my favorite thing that I got to do in the Mage
Yeah.
20 books that are still coming out, I got to do a rote that was based on Tombstone.
Like
That was
town?
no, the movie.
I'm in my prime. Is that
Like,
what?
it's literally called All Hell's Coming With Me.
Dana
uh,
Delaney is the black hole of acting.
It's
Is that one of them?
no, that is not one of them. But no, the rote is basically mimetic intimidation. Like you tell somebody, like you go tell this sucker I'm going to hunt him down, and then it passes through their mutual acquaintances to the point where it starts to give you like advantages when you finally find them because they're so terrified of you. So
Right.
that's my favorite thing in the Mage books that haven't yet come out that I worked on.
Question for anybody who wants to answer. You're on the desert island alone. Which Onyx Path game do you adapt as solo play for yourself? I will tell you it is not going to be Curseborn. You see where that goes.
Palm tree bursts into flames.
Right. A plane lands on me.
I mean, I guess the go-to answer for that one is Pirates of Pugmire. And then,
Right,
like,
yeah, like
get
a
a boat
boat.
and sail away.
There you go. Done.
I'm going to LARP Pirates of Pugmire so I can leave the island.
Gonna LARP myself off this fucking island.
I assume that question is I got to play a game alone by myself for the rest of my life.
Right.
At which point there wouldn't just be one. But I think the World Below would adapt really well to solo play.
It probably would.
I don't know. I might need to be cheered up a little bit more. I might be more at the gates. I
Yeah.
have no idea how that would adapt to solo, but at that point, I probably, if I was alone on a desert island, wouldn't care, and I would do a lot of cheating.
Exactly.
True. In that similar vein, I would probably do either Abern or Adventure in that same vein. Something that's got a little bit of hope in it.
I mean,
Just
there
bring it
is
down.
some hope in the world below, but it's more striving to get to the point where you can dare hope again, versus
I hope I survive this.
Right.
I hope I don't lose too many body parts.
So you're saying, Rich, you'd have to dig for that hope?
Dig a little deeper.
Precisely.
Question for Danielle: what are you looking forward the most in games you're the lead developer coming in future?
Which games am I looking forward to the most that I am
That
the
you're
lead
lead dev on.
developer? That no.
Or what
Choose which
element?
child you love best, Danielle.
No, no. What was it? Was
absolutely
it
not.
which game or was it which elements of the games?
Yeah, it sounds
What?
like what thing are you
Oh,
looking
okay. Yeah.
for?
What
Let's say which
element?
elements of your game. That's a better question to answer.
That's still hard. Let's just more options now. I maybe like the I really like demons for At the Gates. I think I'm just gonna go with that because
You want to do a book of demons?
yeah. I also really like some stuff about Gloomhaven. But that's not what this convention's about. Come to Origins and ask me that question again.
I will also throw in that I'm really, really excited to see Curse Dice and how they work in Curseborn. Because everything I've seen and everything I've played so far, it's really, really, really cool. And it's a small but very interesting change to how Storypath works. And so that's one thing I'm really excited to see coming forward.
I don't know if we have more questions. If we do, I won't say this, but if we don't, and I need to fill time, you can just cut me off, Eddie.
Go ahead.
Essentially, that Curse Dice was Rose Bailey and Monica Specca. I had asked them to get together and do our magic system. And Rose said, let's do a dice system, like a spendable dice system. And Monica said, like divinity dice from Scion. And Rose was like, I haven't looked at divinity dice, but I had made a dice system for Damnation City that was an expendable dice system that got converted in V5 to Hunger Dice. So something like that. And Monica said, oh, yes, that is the system that I took the divinity dice from, not the Hunger Dice, the Damnation City one. And it was, kind of this like, there's some good, there's some bad. And we agreed that there should be some good for them. And that there should be some push and pull of wanting to have some, but not wanting to have too many, but not wanting to have zero. And so they came up with the base idea. Monica wrote it up, and then I iterated on it with the Damnations. And I think honestly came up with a really cool mechanic.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but right now how things are looking is it ties into how Curseborn works in a very fundamental way, and it's very, very, very cool. But with that, we've had a couple more minor questions. I went ahead and answered them in chat because we are basically out of time. Rich, do you want to take us out?
I will indeed.
With
It is once again
take
time.
us up?
With the ringing of the silver bell that takes us away from all our wonders and all of our dreams that we've had here at this convention, and puts us back
You
in
should
that
hum
awful,
while you ring
awful
it.
world of normalcy.
I can hear it.
Still can't hear it.
I could barely hear
It was
it.
barely there, but we
That
couldn't
it
hear
will
it.
let it do it. That's the way it is. It's in your
Imagine
souls
the
now,
bell.
though. That's
Imagine
the
the
whole
bell is
point.
inside of you.
We all
The
know.
silver bell inside of you.
We may not hear it, but we know on a subconscious level.
Well, let me help you with that one. Ring a ling a ling a ling a ling a ling a ling.
I hear it. Amazing.
Well, I tell you what, folks, stick tight because we're going to go directly from this closing ceremonies into the final encore presentation of the Curseborn actual play. So stick around. If you missed it, now's your chance to check it out. Otherwise, you have to wait, the possibly day or two till it winds up over on YouTube. Until then, folks, thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you so much,
to
everybody.
everyone
Thanks, folks. We couldn't
on
do it
the
without you.
screen and everybody behind the scenes. Thank you all so much. Awesome work.
Bye.
See ya.